Hey everybody, I'm Ben Higgins.
Hey, I'm Serena Pitt.
Hey, this is Blake Moynes.
Hey guys, I'm Brendan Scanzano.
Hi, this is Alana Milne.
Hey, I'm Lindsay Hamilton.
And you're watching The Bros Ceremony.
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 And you're watching Bros Ceremony.
And you're watching The Bros Ceremony.
This is the Bros Ceremony.
Your journey's about to begin.
Recapping the week that was in Bachelor Nation and previewing what's to come in the next episode with some special betting odds.
Everyone can't wait to find out what happens next week.
Here are your hosts, Michael the Hound Dog Harrison and Adam Scully.
Will you accept this rose?
Will you accept this rose?
Will you accept this rose?
Right now, we have a love square. Hello and welcome inside episode 36 of the Bros Ceremony podcast. Adam Scully alongside Michael the Hound Dog Harrison, the Jack Campbell edition of the Bros Ceremony, or the Dmitry Yuskevich edition of the podcast. Michael, a hard-hitting episode of Bachelor in Paradise Canada this past Sunday, which we will get into as well. We will preview tonight's Bachelorette preview, Michelle's journey to find love. But first and foremost, how are you?
Adam, I know you probably, whoa. Apparently you're not doing so well there. Are you okay?
I'm good, yes.
You're okay, good. Yeah, I'm not doing overly great, Adam. I don't know if you know or not, but I like a certain football team, and when they lose games, my mood isn't the greatest, especially after losing said games, especially when you lose 2 games in overtime, the first 6 games of the year, and on top of the 2 other losses that they led both games in the fourth quarter. Not exactly feeling the greatest, young Adam, if I'm honest with you, which I like to be honest with you, Adam. Starting off this podcast, I may have a bee in my bonnet. The Seattle Seahawks are 2-4. I'm not happy right now, as you can tell. So we shall see. Only time will tell to see how my mood is for this podcast. Boom, go.
We have things that are a little high on the spice meter here early on. Some passion coming from Michael the Hound Dog Harrison here. If you're not clear, Hound Dog Harrison, big Seahawks guy. But yeah, you know what? Seattle Seahawks not off to a great start. Our good friend Brendan Scanzano definitely off to a good start during his time on Bachelor in Paradise Canada. So far, so good. Now the boys, some of the guys were here from Bachelor in Paradise. They were in the Toronto area this past weekend. Looks like they had a great time. Looks like they had a really good time. And maybe we'll have more on that on future episodes. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But, Bachelor in Paradise Canada, 2 episodes in. Looks like we've got a rose ceremony coming up next week. We actually do have a rose ceremony coming up next week. But, as I mentioned off the top, there's a bit of a love square, kind of, sort of, not really, but sort of happening on Bachelor in Paradise Canada. And, Vay and Camille had that golf date last week, which was bizarre because they're using clubs from the 1912s, but 12s plural. Yeah, that made sense. Skulls. And but they broke it off. It seemed kind of weird off the top. What do you think about that whole breakup?
Well, yeah, especially because I love off the top of the episode, they're all around the campfire and they're all talking about, different things they love and dislike, about relationships and so on and so forth. Obviously, it was dripping in irony that Caitlin was talking about how she needs to surround herself with people who have respect and so on and so forth. Obviously, that's a dig at Vay. And then Vay says she hates liars. Obviously, a dig at Caitlin. I love that so much. It seemed like it was going to ramp up even higher of the tension, but it sort of mellowed from there a little bit, to be honest. I'm assuming maybe later on we'll get some more tension between the two of them. But it poses the question that I have for you, Adam. Do you like liars? Vay doesn't like liars. Do you like liars, and do you like people who disrespect you?
I appreciate the question. First of all, great question. No, I do not. I don't know anyone who does. That's a very good point. It's like kind of what you like to say, people on dating apps or just in general who love to laugh. If you find someone who doesn't like to laugh, we want to have them on this podcast and discuss that.
Yeah, it's always just so funny. And we'll get to the Michelle's Bachelorette contestants. I have a few anecdotes about a few of those guys a little bit later in this episode. But all of their previews, all of their profiles, they're all like, want a vivacious person, someone who's, super happy and adventurous and blah, 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 blah. I always find it so funny because it's like, who is going to be like, I want a lazy person who has no work ethic, who's a liar, who's the scum of the earth. Like that would be an interesting profile to have on a dating app, or if you're a contestant on the Bachelorette or Bachelor in Paradise Canada. So these discussions about how they don't like liars and people who are disrespectful, it's all so stupid to me.
Well, speaking of alleged liars, people who are disrespectful, people who aren't there for the right reasons, allegedly, here we go. David arrives on the dock. That might have been a bit of a harsh segue there. Arrives on the dock. I also like how, on Bachelor in Paradise, they say, come to the beach, whatever, they're arriving on the beach. But like they've been instructed this time around that they're coming on the dock. They're arriving on the dock. Who are we? Are we going to see someone else come in from the dock? It's very Canadian, being that they're in Muskoka. But, David arrives. Apparently he's an actor. Apparently he was dating Lisa at one point. And I know one thing, Lisa, not a fan of David.
And without question, through two episodes, any biases aside, the greatest character through the first two episodes has to be Lisa. I mean, she's just absolutely gold television. Mm-hmm. Let's hope she somehow is able to survive the first rose ceremony. Unlikely. Maybe David, who she, as you said, she doesn't really like him. Maybe he'll try to save some face by giving her a rose, the rose ceremony. That's my hope, because she's fantastic television. I also love how she sort of like somewhat like breaks down the fourth wall, kind of. She's like, oh, and other predictable things happening on Bachelor in Paradise. Like, she just like sort of like is poking fun at the show almost. I thought she was hilarious. Doesn't like him. I love the fake conversation they seem to have where he was trying to apologize. And then she said something like, yeah, I want somebody like you, except for not a douche. I just thought that was an amazing line. Lisa's hilarious. I love her so much, Adam.
Well, I made the remark on last week's episode of the Bros Ceremony that Lisa sort of speaks like a broadcaster sometimes. And Lisa actually commented on the Bros Ceremony Instagram account, which you don't have access to still. And that's another conundrum.
I did not know that. What'd she say?
She said, I actually here, I'll read it. Something about on the... As this loads here, you give me a couple moments here.
Yeah, I'll have a few more things to say while that loads. Truthfully, still a thing going on, not being able to have access to this Bros Ceremony Instagram account. So I truthfully had no idea that Lisa said something. I didn't know she was besties with us, unless we just talked about it last week and I've already forgotten that. Possibly, I don't think we did. What did she say there, Adam?
So Lisa, you mentioned Lisa there. She commented on our Bros Ceremony Instagram account from our episode last week, where I mentioned that she sometimes talks like a broadcaster. You mentioned the fourth wall there, trying to, be, sort of talk like as if she's on a commentator sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And she commented on our post saying, I talk like a broadcaster, crying face emoji, crying laughing face emoji. I've been told this before.
Oh.
So... Lisa.
So the question remains then, Adam, when is she going to be a guest on the Bros Ceremony?
As they say, only time. I don't know. Maybe sometime soon. Maybe if she is eliminated from this upcoming episode of Bachelor in Paradise Canada, then maybe we'll have her on after that. It'd be enticing to have her on. But if we did have her on, we'd have to have the bleep button going a lot.
She's so funny, Adam. Like I said, just like, but she's so far so real. Like, I don't think anything she's really said that has been like, I don't know, I don't believe that. I mean, unless of course you want to take David's side on this. The only thing I do like about David is I just love the fact that like he's just sort of the villain or whatever. Like, it's amazing television to me. Everyone thinks he's disingenuous. Good word. And yeah, to me, I think it's great. Keep him on the show. I truly hope it gives his rose in the episode upcoming here to Lisa, just to try to save some face, and then just basically as a reason or as an excuse to keep her on the show.
Yeah, that's for sure. Looking forward to seeing what happens between Lisa and David. Now, David did go on a date with Alice where they were doing some archery of some sort. And then one thing I really noticed from that date was David popping the champagne bottle. And did the whole bottle come out when that happened? Like that was an extreme pop there, Michael.
Has anyone ever popped? I've never popped a champagne bottle. A spoiler alert, Adam. But has anyone ever popped a champagne bottle and like nothing come out? Is it even possible for that to happen? I honestly couldn't tell you, Adam. I've never popped a bottle before.
Well, I guess like when you pop a bottle of champagne, like the cork's going to come out. Regardless, it's going to make some sort of popping noise. And if you do it slow enough, I guess nothing's going to come out. But generally speaking, you're shaking it and you want to explode it everywhere. So kind of like the baseball teams do, kind of like I did with a different beverage after Edwin Encarnacion's walk-off home run 5 years ago for the Blue Jays to get into the playoffs off your balcony, may I add, too. So that was
game. Great game. Unbelievable home run. Jays were so close to making the playoffs this year. They could have created a new memory and a new moment. Instead, we only had to watch the Bachelor in Paradise, the Bachelorette, Bachelor in Paradise finale on that Tuesday together, as opposed to watching that and the Blue Jays wildcard game, which would have been amazing.
Creating memories, creating moments. That's what the Blue Jays might do next year. That's what they're doing right now on the dock on Bachelor in Paradise Canada. Wow, so where our good friend Brendan was having a conversation with Camille. I think they're in the same cabin, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, they were sitting outside, and our good friend Brendan was saying, you know what, Camille, be a straight shooter. Go talk to Caitlin. He spoke to Caitlin. Brendan spoke with Ileana. They're all sort of sitting together. And Caitlin had the line, Brendan S. is the ultimate wingman. I love him. We know him a little bit. It kind of is the ultimate wingman, isn't he?
Absolutely. Totally. Obviously, as we saw on his original season, now in the Bachelor in Paradise Canada, just it seemed like he is a total beauty. And they seem to go to him almost like for advice. He seems to be, as he says, a straight shooter. And he seems to be a glue guy, I would say, of the group.
A big glue guy, a guy who keeps everyone at bay, behaving. So far, so good. Now, another thing from the episode that really stuck out to me was is it Sadie Haskins dance, whatever that was, where the girls have to ask the guy or, pick a guy, and, to go to this dance and then kiss. And when I first saw this, I'm like, okay, it'll be some sort of peck, whatever, maybe like a kiss on the cheek. But no, things were spicy. Things were there was a lot of tongue involved with these kisses.
I did some research on this because I'll be honest with you, just like the people on the show, I'd never heard of it before. Yeah, the Sadie Haskins dance. It's celebrated November 13th, and as what happened on the show, the women asked the men to dance. And also, it was created by Dwayne Haskins, former Washington football Washington football quarterback. Now he's in the Pittsburgh Steelers. First round pick a couple of years ago. It was his grandmother who created the Sadie Haskins dance. Some interesting factoids about that dance. And yes, I'm totally lying about the Dwayne Haskins part, but it is actually November 13th. And have you ever heard of the Sadie Haskins dance? No. They all definitely had never heard of it before.
Definitely had not heard of it. Definitely was compelled by it. Maybe someday we'll go to a Sadie Haskins dance, Michael.
They definitely all are making out. And unfortunately, it seemed pretty clear to me that speaking of Lisa, that she wasn't going to be getting the ultimate. She brought Jeremy. Jeremy went with Lisa and Kit. I'm still trying to remember all these names. Am I right on those names?
Yeah. So it appeared that Jeremy was asked by both Kit and Lisa. So he had a couple smooches there. And then it was his call ultimately to decide who would be going to the dance with him. He picked Kit. Alice had already vowed out of the dance, as did Lisa. And of course, being Bachelor Nation, there was a performer, Dean Brody, know him well, and fireworks, of course. So fireworks going on the beach. And when was the last time you saw fireworks, Michael?
Probably in the Bachelorette show.
No, like in person, you goof.
I heard fireworks a few weeks ago. We're super, super loud. Never actually saw them though. Last time probably would have been an Arn Pryor, I guess, for one of the Canada Days years ago, is my guess. But now, quite honestly, Adam, I like to be honest with you, it could have been because I wasn't paying attention. I was on my phone playing a game or something like that. The performer. We never actually saw the performer, correct? It was just, we heard the music, or am I completely wrong?
I think so. No, I'm curious. He performed in Toronto in September. I don't think we actually saw him. We heard the music.
I was going to say, I don't think I ever saw him, which I thought that was a little bit strange. Like, here's the performance, the guest, and then there's no guest, but it was good music, I guess. Yeah.
It was good music. I'd love to see Dean Brody live someday. Maybe we'll go see Dean Brody live in concert someday. But yeah, David and Lisa had a little one-on-one at that or around that point during the night. Didn't go great. You could tell there's some animosity between David and Lisa. I'm not sure if you heard that computer noise from mine, but my computer just made a weird, okay, we're good. Never mind. And, the next day it was, the rose ceremony is supposed to be that evening. Guys and girls had their own little powwows, as they do in Bachelor Nation. Who are you liking? Who are you feeling? What, and then Alice shows up because Alice hadn't been around all day. And Alice decided, you know what? This environment isn't for me. I don't want to be here. And Alice decided to say sayonara.
Yeah, she decided to leave on her own volition. Good word, by the way. Quite possibly, I know I'm sometimes prone to hyperbole, but perhaps maybe the greatest suit ever worn in Bachelor in Paradise Canada history. That blue suit was absolutely spectacular, Adam. I thought that was just an incredible suit. But yeah, she decided to leave, which was I was kind of disappointed. I wanted to see more of her story because she seemed different from all the other players. Like she was like, yeah, I'm not going to kiss someone just to get a rose or to go on a date or whatever. I like the fact that she was different from some of the other players in that respect, and I wanted to see more of her love story, but unfortunately, it was cut short.
Yeah, I agree. It's too bad that she wanted to leave or she left early. Maybe we'll have her on this podcast. Who knows? And we can discuss her journey on Bachelor in Paradise, walking down the dock. And she walked down the dock with pretty big heels as well, which I don't think would be very comfortable personally. But
there's only one way to find out, Adam. You should try.
There is. So Alice leaves, and she only told the girls that she was going to leave. While they're all gathered for, I guess, the cocktail party before the rose ceremony, Lisa announced to everyone that Alice has decided to leave. And David was not happy, distraught about this, nearly on the verge of tears because of this. Now, I mentioned earlier, he is an actor, and many of the people also on the beach or the dock, they weren't buying it at all.
It's sort of a bad little case for your career if you're an actor and everyone's like, basically, dude, you're acting, and it's not even good acting. Like, it's kind of like oh boy. So not only are you not genuine or disingenuous, as I had said earlier, but now also you're not a good actor. So it's like you're bad at everything, I guess, type of thing. It reminds me of the opposite of on Joe Schmo 2, one of my favorite shows of all time, where the real guy who they were trying to punk on the show, Tim, said of Eleanor, the weeper on the show, he said something, and she was very upset about something. He said, a very talented actress would be able to do that, but she's not an actress. She's just herself. And I'm like, if I am Eleanor, Jessica Makinson, that's her real name, if I'm her agent, I am playing that tape all of the upcoming times that she's trying to get on shows, auditions. A real person said a really talented actress could do this, but she's not an actress. She's just herself. Amazing. So the opposite is David. David is not a good actor, and they also don't seem to like him, which is why I love him. I want him to stay in the show because it's entertaining.
I kind of have a feeling, he'll be around for a little bit. He also had the line to Alice that this was earlier on when they were going on their one, or when they had just met before their one-on-one, that, oh, a lot of people say I have a nice butt because I play soccer. It was like, okay, man, like, pump the brakes a little bit on that note. But, another note I had here during their, I guess this was this before the rose? Oh, the rose ceremony didn't happen. I guess it was during the cocktail party where our boy Scans, Brendan, and Ileana they're having a nice conversation. Was that
tremendous video stuff going on here? I don't know if you'll see it on your end, on both of our end, but you're like this frozen for about 10 seconds there, which was some good television. So hopefully you were just frozen in that pose for about 10 seconds on there for people. I think they would like that one.
I was just speaking like this, where my head wasn't moving, that sort of thing.
Like that for 10 seconds. Yeah. Yeah. So what were we saying? Yeah. Scans. You're talking about scans.
Yeah. So Brendan and Ileana during the rose ceremony, or I'm sorry, during the cocktail party before the rose ceremony, were chatting, and Brendan had this great line. I think we look really good together, which I thought was great. And, Ileana, it's clear that Brendan and Ileana so far, I would say, are the top couple on the dock or the beach. What do you think, Michael?
I don't think you could argue otherwise, especially because it seemed like perhaps Camille and Caitlin might have been vying for that title because Camille wasn't seemingly very much into Vay a whole lot, and Vay was into Joey, who seems to be a really interesting guy. I like him as well. So it seemed like maybe Caitlin and Camille were like going to be solid until the end of the episode. Chris decides to shoot a shot one more time, pissing off Camille in the process. I'm kind of team Chris on this one. I just think it's entertaining, him going after Camille. Camille not too happy with that.
Camille definitely not too happy about that. Went to interrupt their conversation. Chris was not going to stop what he was saying to Caitlin. Caitlin said, "Oh my God, this is so brutal." Caitlin eventually walked away, and the boys had a little, not toe to toe, but they were talking pretty close, face to face. Camille saying, she's my girl. This is terminated. Chris not very happy with that. He walked away, and Camille threw his drink on the beach. Things were heating up here in Paradise, Michael.
It seems like to me though, like this is like the Canadian version, as it is the Canadian version of Bachelor in Paradise in terms of like the American version of Bachelor in Paradise. People would have like almost fought, and like the production would have had to step in like that close to knocking each other's heads off. The Canadian version, it's just like walking away and throwing a drink by the fire or whatever. It's much more tame in terms of like actual rage and being upset or whatever, which I don't like. I want to see more rage.
We just want to see
the rage to the extent that I feel rage when the Seahawks lose a close game in a soul-crushing fashion. That is the stupidest thing, when dumb things are done where you can easily correct them. And it's amazing to me, not just with football, but other sports, but especially in football where every single play matters. It seems like that like athletes just they do the dumbest things. They just it's like, how do you not have any situational awareness of what's going on? So what I'm trying to say is, I think I was actually thinking about this today. It would be really, really funny to see me or anyone just as some dope playing, being a receiver in that situation where, DK Metcalf fumbled the ball at the end of regulation, should have got out of bounds. What are you doing? That's not the greatest situational awareness there. It'd be hilarious to see some dope like me, like trying that situation and just getting murdered in the field. It'd be the best.
I mean, what's stopping us? I feel like this is must-see TV. Michael playing wide receiver for once Russell Wilson returns in whatever 4 to 6 weeks, whatever the injury is, and you're playing wide receiver, and you're gonna have some really spicy routes, all about the foot speed. Really gonna have to confuse the defensive players a little bit. I think what like this is a win-win-win situation.
Well, I feel it's almost like when a positional player comes in for baseball and they start pitching, and the batters are used to like 100 miles an hour, mile an hour fastballs. Instead, they get like a 40 mile an hour pitch. They're so confused and they're all thrown off because they're used to these heaters coming in on them. Me going like, instead of a 4.34 speed, if I'm going like 6.3 speed or whatever, might actually be 8.1 speed. That would like sort of throw them off. They wouldn't know what to do. And then if I did get hurt though, I would probably then say, this would be what I would tell the training staff. I'm vulnerable if I was very much hurt.
You're vulnerable, and tons of there are actually, I think 3 or 4 different times where the term vulnerable was used on this past episode of Bachelor in Paradise Canada. But Michael, as we look ahead now to next week's episode, next Sunday, City TV, or wherever you can find Bachelor in Paradise online or the City TV app, what do you think is going to happen in the first ever rose ceremony in Bachelor in Paradise Canada history?
I really, truly hope. I really think David's going to give his rose to Lisa. The only reason that it worries me that he didn't do that, and I guess they were very careful to not include people who were potentially in the chopping block there, because they didn't show Anna or Lisa in the preview. So it's like they kept that open ended. I was sort of being eagle-eyed that one, hoping maybe I'd be able to see someone in the background or something like that actually gave us an indication of who stayed and who went, type of thing. But yes, I think David's going to try to save face, and he's going to give his rose to Lisa, and which means Anna's going to leave. And I also think that ultimately Camille will give his rose to Caitlin, and Chris will give his rose to Stacey. I've already forgotten Stacey with the hilarious laugh. Yes, that's how it probably will go. We'll shake out.
Look at you studying game film for the upcoming episode, like our past Bros ceremony guest and Bachelor insider, Taylor Lucas. Maybe we'll have Taylor on again at some point soon. Of course, Bachelor in Paradise Canada every Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, City TV. I think there's also a way to find it in the States. I don't know. HBO Max was on the chopping block, rumored to do it, but I don't know.
I saw Brendan posting with that for his American viewers. He posted something, somewhere to watch the show type of thing. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. By the way, I don't know if you ended up seeing it. I tried to watch the after show because I watched the first one after episode 1.
Right.
I'm sad to say I got through maybe like fast forwarded maybe 2 minutes, and I said
you can't do it.
I can't do it. But it was JP, I think that's his name. He was on Bachelor and Winter Games, the French Canadian guy. John. I don't know exactly. Not JG Pajot. Obviously, formerly of the Ottawa Senators. But no, John. I can't remember. You know what I'm talking about? He was dating Claire for a while. That guy.
Did he get engaged?
Yeah, I think so. JP or JF or I don't know what the hell. Anyway, he was on there, and I couldn't watch. I was like, I can't do this, man. It was quite bad.
I feel like a better post-game show would be someone joining us right here live on the Bro ceremony.
Absolutely. You know, Adam, you ruminate. Good word on that. I'm going to try to find out this guy's name because it's going to drive me crazy here really quickly.
I remember he looks like our Bro Ceremony super fan, Raphael, a good friend of ours. They look quite similar, I think. I remember because Claire was actually engaged to whatever this guy's name is. This was a number of years ago. Of course, Claire and Dale apparently are now broken up for good. You hate to see that. It looks like, Michael, now you have the name.
Yes, I don't know why I mistakenly said JP. Benoit.
Nice.
I don't know why I was saying JP on that one, but yeah, Benoit. He was on the Bachelor Winter Games. Really enjoyed the Bachelor Winter Games, by the way.
Yeah.
I thought that was quite unique. I would say I like that a little bit more than the Bachelor Follow Your Heart, the musical one. Didn't mind that one either. Actually, people were really hating on that one. I also thought it was pretty good. So they're all good.
Yeah, Bachelor Winter Games, of course, past Bro Ceremony guest Ben Higgins was on that. Ben Higgins getting married soon. Ben Higgins also had ACL and MCL surgery recently, some major leg surgery. It didn't look good, but it looks like he's now up and moving, which is great. But Michael, I mentioned Bachelor in Paradise Canada. That's every Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, City TV, or hopefully you can find it in the States. But starting tonight, another season of The Bachelorette is underway, where Michelle's journey to find love. She'll be, looking to find love. Of course, she was on Matt James' season of The Bachelor. Expectations, Michael. How pumped are you for Michelle's season of The Bachelorette?
My expectations are that hopefully next time we do Bro Ceremony, your reception's a little bit better because, again, I don't know how it'll turn out when we do post-production, but it seemed like you were freezing.
Really?
Couple seconds. I could barely hear you, but I heard that, of course, you said Michelle is on, of course, obviously the lead on The Bachelorette coming up. So expectations, I think it's going to be pretty good. In fact, I teased it earlier. I went through a couple of the guys' different profiles just to have a few nuggets to say, nothing much about them because, we don't want to take up too much time here, but I will say some of the interesting anecdotes, and I want to have your reaction to some of these as well. Okay.
Love it. Now, just so our viewers know, I have not seen any of these profiles, so I'm reacting here.
Okay,
not
good.
playing.
So the first one, Alec doesn't think bullying is romantic. So it's very weird to me that I would throw that. Not that he does. He doesn't think bullying is romantic. Do you think bullying is romantic?
I've never thought of bullying and romanticizing being together in the same. No.
What do you say?
Bullying and romanticizing?
No.
What?
Bowling.
Oh, bowling. I thought you said bullying. I was like, what?
Wow. He doesn't think bullying is romantic. That would make a lot of sense, actually. If he
like
didn't
bowling.
think
Like we're
bowling.
Oh.
That's fantastic. That's no. Typically, I find bullying very romantic. So I don't know what this Alec guy is thinking of. The second one is this Brian guy. He's an NFL player. He thinks orchids are majestic. Orchids are majestic. Wow.
I'm more of a rose guy personally in terms of.
I mean, you should stay on brand for the show, right? If you're doing The Bachelor, why are you talking about orchids? You should talk about roses. Seems weird to me.
Yeah.
Chris S. hates burnt pizza. It makes him really, really mad, which sort of goes back to what I was saying earlier about the hates liars, all these types of things, love to laugh. Who loves burnt pizza? Right? It's just like, it's a throwaway comment that doesn't matter at all.
I mean, if there's like an extra crunch with the crust, potentially, but not burnt. Absolutely not.
Weird. Daniel loves Christmas music. Again, these profiles are on ABC are very, very weird. They either have like little strange anecdotes about like burnt pizza or the bowling, not bullying, not being romantic. Very, 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 very odd factoids. It makes me wonder how many of these, like, did they submit like 100 of them and they just took the weirdest ones? Not sure. Daniel loves Christmas music. This is one you'll love, I think, because it's just ridiculous. Because we had the Tatty Daddy on Bachelor in Paradise this past summer. Garrett loves plants. So Garrett calls himself the Plant Daddy, which is just bizarre. Jamie has never watched reality TV before, which I love that because I always love when people on reality shows. There was a guy in this current season of Survivor, Brad, who you'd swear has never seen Survivor in his life, and he was an awful player. So entertaining, though. I love the guy so much because it's like he's way out of his depth. So I'm hopefully Jamie, who's never watched reality TV before, maybe he'll be a disaster of a contestant. That's my hope.
Interesting. You wonder if he's actually telling the truth there. I don't know. That's I don't quite buy that.
Could very well be true. And Nate and Nate, Nayte, not the normal way you would spell Nate. Nate has this is how they wrote it, has a smile that sparkles like the stars. Wow. And he's also 6 feet 8 inches tall. So they're saying that he's going to be a big focus in the show or something along those lines.
Perhaps the tallest person in Bachelor history.
Could very well be. I can't think of one that's taller than that. Peter is a pizzapreneur. That's what he. That was his tag for his career.
Yeah.
Peter is a pizzapreneur. Just a couple more here. There's a dude named Romeo on the show, which just seems like that's an unfair advantage, man. You can't go on a show with the name Romeo. That's just not fair. He's gonna. I'm calling it out. I don't even know what the guy looks like. I've already forgotten. Romeo is going to win the show just because his name is Romeo.
No. Romeo's going like maybe top 6, like probably just outside hometowns. Great connection, but no.
You know what, Adam? I'm going to change my prediction only because the woman, the lead Bachelorette's name is Michelle. If her name was Juliet, then Romeo for sure would have won. Romeo and Juliet. That would have been the perfect love story for Hollywood. Then there's 2 people left here. Ryan said Michelle checks Ryan's boxes. I swear to God, this is what it says on the website here. Michelle checks Ryan's boxes. Will he check hers? Only time will tell. That's what it actually said on the website. Not kidding. Only time will tell, which I thought was funny, given that that's your catchphrase, obviously. Of course. And lastly, Will is a Leo, and he's very into horoscopes. Are you into horoscopes, Adam?
You know what, Michael? I appreciate the question. I'm really not. I mean, I'm a Pisces from what I think. Good. And cool. I don't know.
No, it is the dumbest thing going. If you are saying you are a Pisces or a Libra, or I'm a Sagittarius, by the way, and you can't date someone because of the horoscope sign you are, one of 12 different possibilities, you're an idiot. If you're saying that, it would never work just because of the star sign you are, Aquarius, whatever the hell all the other dumb ones are, you're a moron. If you think now, don't get me wrong, it's entertaining to think of, and you could look at it and be entertained by it. Totally fine. That no harm in that at all. I'm just saying, if you look at that and say automatically, I can never date you because you are a Aquarius, Libra, whatever, Sagittarius, Capricorn, you're a clown, is what I'm saying.
I agree. I mean, people are into it, and I'm just like, who cares? I mean, it's just like
you could be into it. Like I said, you could be into it, Adam. I have no problem with that. But when you start basing your life decisions on that just seems like a bridge too far for me.
Yeah, it's certainly a bridge too far for me as well. But like I mentioned, Michelle's journey to find love gets underway tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. We're back every Tuesday where we recap Bachelor in Paradise Canada that past Sunday. Look ahead to that night's episode of The Bachelorette. And I think next week, Michael, we'll have our fantasy picks. We'll each pick 3 men who are on Michelle's journey to find love through one episode. And maybe we'll make some brilliant picks. Maybe we won't. As I say all the time, only time will tell. Michael, tons of content in this episode, tons of content moving forward. But before we sign off here one last time, do you have any final thoughts that you'd like to share?
It never fails, Adam. It never, ever fails. The times you don't ask me that question, I have final thoughts, and then I have to interrupt you. The times that you do ask that question, I don't have a final thought. Then I'm like, oh my, now I just have to fill the airspace here. I truthfully, because I don't like liars, and I don't like lying, Adam. I don't have a final thought for you.
Well, you know what's funny, Michael? I have a final thought this time.
Okay.
My final thought relates to your final thought last week. We haven't really seen much of Kevin so far as the bartender on Bachelor in Paradise Canada. I'm looking forward to seeing more of these one-on-ones. He seems like a great dude. Of course, lives here in the Toronto area. Him and Astrid having a baby at some point here in the near future. But I want to see more Kevin.
Yeah, well, in the credits when they have that, we mentioned the theme song last week not being as entertaining as the other Bachelor theme song because of the song.
Yeah,
they have Kevin there, but they don't actually say Kevin the bartender or something for someone who might not know. I can't remember. Do they say Wells the bartender on Bachelor in Paradise? I can't recall, but they should if they don't. And yeah, so you would think Kevin being obviously one of the stars of the show, other than him saying you want a twisted tea, because that's obviously one of their sponsors, you would think they would lean into him a bit more. And also the host, they haven't really shown the host a whole lot either. So it's a little interesting. You think they would at least Kevin anyway, given the fact that he is a Bachelor alumni royalty in Canada, you think they would have shown him a bit more.
I'm guessing here going forward, we'll see much more of Kevin as the journey to find love on both The Doc and Bachelor in Paradise Canada and Michelle's season of The Bachelorette. We'll discuss all that every week here on The Bros Ceremony, and looking forward to seeing love begin, love flourish. I almost said flummish there. That's a word right there that I'm making up on the spot. Michael, 36 episodes down. Next week, episode 37, the Brad Lukowich edition. That's the first number 37 I could think of off the top. But looking forward to that. Thank you to all of our new subscribers. We had a lot more views on our YouTube page this past week, so appreciate all the love there. Thanks to all of our new followers on Instagram, on Twitter. Thanks for following. Thanks for subscribing on YouTube, and we hope to bring much more spicy content here as we go on right here on the Bros Ceremony. For Michael the Hound Dog Harrison, I'm Adam Scully. Thanks so much for joining us today right here on the Bros Ceremony.